What if everything you were taught about money, credit, and building wealth was designed to keep you broke? Welcome to Money Matters, the podcast where we pull back the curtain on credit, capital, and the real game of building wealth in America. I'm Badi, the founder of the Scoring Machine, and the credit risk strategist who spent years inside the system most people are locked out of. And alongside me is my business partner, DeAndre Ruffin, the entrepreneur builder, one of the sharpest minds I know when it comes to turning ideas into income. Every episode, we sit down, sometimes with each other, other times with other operators, lenders, entrepreneurs, actually moving money to talk about the stuff your bank won't, your financial advisor can't, and your family never learned. We talk about credit scores, business funding, AI finance, the traps that the credit industry doesn't want you to see, and the real strategies behind how people go from a 520 score to fundable. In 12 months, no fluff, no gurus, no, just budget better advice. Because money matters, but knowing how to actually works matters more. Let's get into it.
All right, my man. So, like he said, my name is DeAndre Ruffin, aka on social media, Dre the Dimer. They call me Dre the Dimer because I want my whole team to score. And when you guys are using the score machine, that's what we try to do. Make sure that everybody is scoring, making sure that you have the proper tools and the proper resources to actually win and succeed.
I love it, Dre. I love it. This is crazy on what we're doing over here. And we've been at this a while, me and you.
Yeah, we have.
It's crazy to think about, we're coming up on 2 years. First full year launched, and almost 2 years in beta and out of testing and idea phase and all that stuff. So we're really deep into this. We've been at this a while, you and I, but for our audience, I want to do something a little different. Our audience doesn't know the both of us. They don't know where we come from, what we do, how we got here. So I kind of want to give a little bit of a background story. Talking to you, like, me and you just having a conversation like we normally do off camera. Mm-hmm. But I want to ask you our first question. A lot of people get into credit because they got burned by it themselves. What's your story with credit? The real one, not the LinkedIn version. I want to hear that
Not
real
the
one.
LinkedIn one. I like that. Okay. So my story with credit is I was how I first got introduced to looking at my credit. I was traveling around, and I was talking to a lot of wealthy people, and one of the common denominators where they have their credit together, and then they leverage their credit to go start investing. So I started looking at my credit, and I had a 432 credit score. So couldn't get a stick of gum. So I actually was asking somebody if they can do it for me. And I paid somebody around like $650, and nothing happened. Then I went and I started just like everybody, going to like Instagram, TikTok. At one time I said I got my degree from YouTube University, just like most people. But like everybody might understand or see that it's all this information is out there, but there's no clear cut answer to what to do and how to do it and actually when to go do it and why you should go do it. And that's the biggest thing. People are just saying, do this, do that, do this, but not the why and not teaching the why. So that's when I say, you know what? Let me actually get into learning how to do it myself. Because again, I had that mindset of nobody's going to do it better than me. Nobody's going to put as much effort and care as much about my credit than me. So that's why I actually started learning more, and I actually paid a mentor or someone to actually teach me how to, maneuver and how to dispute and things like that.
That's crazy. We all come from different backgrounds. We all come from different places. And it always kind of has the same sentiment and the same story of, we're all all of us that are coming up had bad credit. We didn't understand credit. We didn't understand what it was about. And, people just start to people just start to look at credit differently when you're at a different point in your life. Love how you broke that down with what you said with, you're around rich people. Do you want to talk about that time in your life where you actually were? Because I personally love the story. I love how you talk about that time in your life, and I'm going to segue into something else. So just mention Nantucket Island.
Got you. So I was actually a chef. So I was a traveling chef for 7 to 8 years. And so I did Vail, Breckenridge, Keystone. This is all Colorado tattooed on my arm. This is actually me snowboarding. I used to snowboard to work every day, go all the way up the mountain on a gondola, ride down a little bit, go to work. After work, I will snowboard down the rest of the way. And that was every day, every summer, every winter. So one of the summers, though, I was actually cooking at Nantucket Island at Nantucket Yacht Club, and they would have to spend, I think, $250,000 a year just to be a member, and some of them would sell it on their yacht, and they wouldn't even want to eat in the restaurant. They would say, "No, I don't want to do that with everybody. I want the chef or some chefs to come on my yacht and actually cook for us. We will cook them two dinners or two entrees, two. So we do breakfast, lunch, or lunch and dinner. One of the packages. So that's when I actually had a lot of conversations with a lot of wealthy people. To the point where after you eat a little something, people feel all full, and they drink a little something, they feel all just relaxed. That's when they actually start to tell you the behind the scenes on what's going on. So when I say I got to really talk to a lot of wealthy people, definitely got to. I got to cook at this one place called American Seasons on Nantucket Island, which had a 3-star Michelin chef. So that one was actually another great experience because a lot of wealthy people would actually come just to eat his food. So there was a lot of nights where we had private booked out events, and after the dinner, the people they would bring out the chefs and they'll give us all $100 and they'll like talk to us and stuff like that. And I'm a very personable person, if you can't tell. So I would always like love talking to them and just talking to them on the side and things like that and ask them questions. And again, the same common denominator. Somebody had somebody got a lump sum of money and their family started investing, or someone had good credit, started leveraging their credit, and started investing. And that's how their family got money.
And why credit? Out of all the industries you could have built in, real estate, e-com, trading, MLMs,
Got you.
coaching, why this one?
Well, all of those, any business that you just named, to really get started into it, you're gonna need some type of capital. And with me, I didn't come from a wealthy family. So I don't have anybody who can, hey, I have this business idea. I need 3 grand. Well, that's tough. I need 3 grand too. I would hear. So I never had the luxury of having a family member I can lean on with for when I have a business idea and like a personal crisis issue that's different. But when it comes to like a business idea or something like that, I didn't have somebody in my family with the access capital. So for me, any business that I needed to start, I needed to use OPM, which is other people's money.
OPM, other people's money. I think I'm going to end it with this one over here, right? And this segment that we're talking about over here is what's something you believed about money or credit 5 years ago that you think is straight wrong today?
Ooh. So I know a lot of you who be watching this has heard of this. We only use our credit for gas and emergencies. Well, If that's the case, everybody on here, I hope nobody on here has an emergency. Like nobody. I just hope you'd have a real comfortable, just easygoing life. But if that's the case, you're never gonna use your credit. And if you never use your credit, how are you gonna get that dream house? How are you gonna get that dream car? Some of us, we can't even get the dream woman of our life. Why? Of our dreams. Why? She's gonna want that dream wedding. How are you gonna do that? She's gonna want that dream car. How are you gonna do that? She's gonna want to go on those dream vacations. How are you gonna do that? So again, you have to learn how to use OPM, other people's money, because again, it's we all were taught that there's bad debt. Debt is bad, 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 bad. But any building you go into, any house or any big mansion you go into, they didn't pay cash with these big buildings. These skyscrapers, the owners, they didn't pay cash money for these skyscrapers. They used their debt. They went in some type of debt to acquire these assets. But they understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. So that's one of the biggest things that from 5 years ago was I thought that debt was just debt. But now that I know there's a big difference between good debt and bad debt.
Damn, bro. Damn. Just damn. I love it. I love it how deep you go into it and let people understand exactly what it is. It's really good to understand, like, for everybody that's here that's listening to this, you're not the only one that's gone through this. We both have gone through this. And I like to let Dre talk because Dre comes from a different view of what I came from. We were both low credit scores, low things. So at the end of the day, we want you to understand that we're both in your shoes before we got to where we got to. So that's the key. I want to actually talk about the problem. Before we can talk about OPM, what's the major problem that we see in this industry? People got bad credit, right? People got really bad credit. So I'm gonna hit on the really bad credit, and then we'll go from there. Mm-hmm. So, credit repair has a reputation problem. A lot of scammy operators. A lot of people charging $10,000, $5,000, $1,500, $2,000, whatever, for crap templated letters that they pulled off of Amazon, Google, Facebook, whatever, wherever they could get letters from. Some guru sold them some garbage. How is what we do different than everybody else?
Okay. So I'll start it with we follow compliance first off. There are a lot of people who are doing these sweeps and things like that. I'm just gonna call it what it is. We're doing these identity theft sweeps and things like this there's a lot of people who are practicing the bad methods and bad methods. Bad methods can get you in trouble. Not just the person who's doing it, but also the client as well. So what we're doing is, first off, everything we're doing is by the book, by compliance levels. After that, we don't believe in using those template letters. Okay. Like everybody on the masses. Here's a little gem for you guys. Just going to throw it out there. You can go to ChatGPT right now and type in, put your little whatchamacallit in there and tell it to give you the best dispute letter. But guess what? Who else is doing that? Everybody named mama. Everybody's using the same prompt to get the same letters. Now, guess what? If 5,000 people are doing that, disputing their credit at the same time or whatever, and that letter is going to the credit bureaus and everybody's sending that same letter, most likely they're going to say, oh, we've seen this before. Stall letter. We've seen this before. It's a template letter. You're working with an agency because this is the same letter that we've seen 5,000 times already. So that's another thing that I do not believe in, is using those same template letters that everybody can go get. What we have dedicated people inside our back office that is studying the laws, studying the codes, studying the methods. and we're constantly coming up with new different variations. That's what's so different with us because we want to stay ahead of the curve. We don't want to keep sending off the same damn letter every single time because we know it's going to get played out, just like anything else. So that's another thing that I think that separates us is we've put a lot of focus on being new and not staying with the same trend and not staying with the same old letters because we're understanding that the credit bureaus are going to catch up on to that. So we need to have multiple letters, versions, just multiple ways of disputing this thing inside of our software. So I just think that that's another reason why we are getting separate between our competitors is because, again, we're putting so much emphasis on how we do things.
I love it. I want you to dive a little bit deeper. Talked about people. People are reviewing the laws. People are going through human aspect. Going a little off script right now. So, human aspect of it. Why add the human aspect in the AI world now? Why human? Why do we need humans?
So AI is wonderful, but AI doesn't have feeling, doesn't have a heart, doesn't have that little aspect. Yes, that's what AI is kind of curving, is relying on the human error and human mistakes and things like that. But the AI cannot 100% take away the human touch of things. So again, when you actually have that final touch from a human to make it a little bit more humanized, now we can kind of tell that, okay, it's not just an AI spin everything off, which could be a ChatGPT prompt or something prompts. Now we're having that actual human touch to it. But again, we are leaning more so on AI because, again, AI is making everything faster and simpler. But again, like we just said, we don't want to lose that human touch to our systems.
Love it. I don't think that nobody could explain that better. So right now, credit repair industry. What is the biggest lie the credit repair industry tells a consumer right now? Oh, I can't wait to hear this one.
They can guarantee a time frame. We don't control the credit bureaus. So there's no way we can control a time frame. We can give you a guesstimate. We can give you the best guesstimates possible, but we can never ever guarantee you a time frame on when that stuff your credit report will be cleaned up. That's one of the biggest things that I hear is, you can get everything removed successfully in 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. That's not 1,000,000% true for every single case. Another one is I keep hearing that if you just go ahead and pay off your collection, you'll be okay. Just pay that off, and then that doesn't make sense to me. Here's a little scenario. If me and you go way back, but I asked you for $5,000. Come on now, Dre, I got you. Come on now. But you just found out I robbed 10 people. Now I paid them all back. Everybody got their money, but I still robbed them, and they were looking for me for a whole years. But I paid everybody back. Would you feel comfortable loaning me that $5,000 now? Probably not. Why? Because I robbed. Now let's take it back to this scenario. The banks see that you got a collection. You paid it off. Cool. You gave them their money back. But you still got a collection, though. So now they're like, yeah, you paid it off, but you're still a liability. Mm-hmm. You're still a liability. So instead of $5,000, I might give you $500 or $50 or $5. Because what? You're a liability. So that whole narrative of just pay off your collections, do a pay to delete. You can do that, you guys, but you need to get it in writing. Okay, here's another gem for you guys. Go ahead and get this in writing. Say, hey, if I pay off this alleged debt, we are not saying my debt in writing. If I pay this alleged debt, Will you agree to completely remove this from my credit report? Once removed, you are not able to resell this to another third party company. Why? I'm telling you what I've seen. I've seen one of them take it off their report, sell it to another third party company, and then they put it back on their report. So just cover your butt. So when you have that, if the company doesn't agree, beautiful. You can do a pay to delete. Just letting you guys know, a lot of these companies will not do that. We're not honoring a pay to delete. So if they say they're not going to honor it, then we can go the other route, which is removing the collection from your credit reports. Then we can go get you some business funding, start you a business. Now you can start investing. Once that business starts making money, now you can pay off your debt. Another thing is when these credit people say, once we remove the debt, you're good off your report. That's half true. Is now you can go do business using your credit report, but you're still obligated to pay that debt back. So that's why we invest, have the profit from the business, pay off our debts. But we don't pay off our debts while we still have bad credit, because now we have to pay to get our credit fixed.
Bingo. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I got a good one for you. If I had to explain to someone's grandma what the score machine does, what do you say it does?
Lets you know what to do next with your credit.
Damn, bro. That's it?
If it's my grandma, she wants it very simple. Hey, grandma, what does this software do? It lets me know what to do next with my credit. If it's credit repair, if it's to pay down my debt, if it's to I need to go remove this, remove that. If it's to I need to go to this bank, that bank. It tells me what to do next with my credit.
Love it. Love it. I was like, that's it? Like, that's
There
it?
Hey, Granny, that helps me. There you go.
Oh. Wow, this is a good one. I got this question for you. All right. People see the brand, people see the software, people see our content, people see our lives, people see our classes, people see a lot of things that we do, right? Technically, it's Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday. I was going to say, technically, it's Tuesday, but I was going to say it's Wednesday. What does 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, a Tuesday, a Thursday look like for you?
Ooh.
I know, right? That one hits.
What is a Tuesday at 2 p.m.? Whatever I want, actually.
Okay.
It's if it's I have to be in a meeting, it's a meeting. If it's I want to go take a walk, I'm gonna go take a walk. If it's I'm gonna go to the pools, I'm gonna go to the pool. If I'm jacuzzi. The gym. It's kind of like whatever I want to place there, which thankfully, is what actually diving in and betting and investing into myself and really executing got me. So I can honestly say like my 2 o'clocks is whatever I put on 2 o'clock. It's really random.
I mean, that's a great question. I was like, damn, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, this is a good one. This is a really good one. We're business partners, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we actually make this work? What do we bring that? What do you bring that I don't, and vice versa? I'm gonna add a little twist to this. How do we get through controversy?
Got you. So we put a lot of partnerships and a lot of just business partnerships and things they fail because a lot of people are really focused on where they're going in life, where they're going and they're focused on their ego. Too much ego instead of focusing on where we go. That's a big thing. It's don't focus on your ego, focus on where we go. So I think a lot of people don't know how to put that aside for business. Now, again, as a businessman, you need to be a shark. You need to have that ego. You need to know that you're the shit. You need to know that when you step in the room, you're stepping in the room. Like you're the room now. But when it comes to having a partnership, with partners and things like that, you have to know that partner is also a shark in his own field, in his own way. He's also a shark. He's also, when he steps in the room, he becomes the room. you know so how do you balance that? You have to check yourself at the door, as my mom said, like, check yourself at the door. Focus on where we go and not focus on your ego. So that's why a lot of times I've said, I don't care what position I play in this company. I can be the damn janitor on paper. I don't care. Why? Because I'm not focused on my ego. Oh, Dre, you're the janitor of the score machine? Yeah. Well, I'm a owner too. So, I don't. I'm a owner too. And how well is the score machine doing? It's doing fantastic. So I guess financially, I'm doing fantastic. So again, when you're able to put your ego aside and focus on where we go, I keep saying that, but I want everybody to really let that drive in. If you do have a partnership, if you're in the business, you have a partnership, and if it's not working that well on the back end, maybe it's probably because a lot of you guys are, or you all, or probably you, are focusing on your ego, on your personal brand. Yes, you are a shark. You need to, but again, we need to focus on where we go as well.
I like that. I like that. I wanna touch in a thing, because ego is huge. Because egos are what get people in the room together. Um, Checking it at the door is hard for a lot of people. Um, a shark is a shark. They know they're a shark. Um, I just want to sway something that really talks about you. Forget about me in this. For you. What do you bring to the table for the score machine that nobody else can?
Got you. So on the marketing side, and on just the marketing side, and on the grit of sales and things like that, when nobody's gonna really care how much work they have to put in or how many people they have to talk to over and over, if we have to go to events, if we have to just sit down. When it comes to being in the face of people, I really don't care how much work I have to put in. Um, I I really do want this company to win because, again, I know who's depending on this. Um, and nobody who this company is depending on is more invested into than me. Who's at this position, at the whole talking about the score machine, and that's their role. Nobody's really invested into the behind the scenes people as much as I am. You know, I know we have our Uncle Ross and all this type of stuff, but he's not in this position. So I can't. That doesn't count. So again, in this type of position, there is nobody that cares about the back end people as much as I do. Um, and I can say that for a fact. So I just know that I've always had that dog in me, you know, and when I say Dre the Dimer, I really do want my whole team to score. I made way more money with my day two than my day ones ever. I've gone more places. I've accomplished more things in life with my day twos than I've ever accomplished with my day ones. So I can really say that yes, I do get up and I do want my whole team to score, and the score machine is my team, it's my family. So when I say I get up and I talk about what I do the score machine because it's part of me. That's what I do.
Love it. I love it. I love it. That's what you bring to the table, is that can do attitude. That I'm gonna go out there and I can do it. Um, we each have our different roles, but that can-do attitude sometimes it bring, like it was always like talking about a relationship, right? Everybody cannot always be at 100%. Sometimes you got people at 10, somebody there at 50, whatever the case, but it's always being that person where each of us can lift each other up. And I want to dive deep on one question. It's a good one. It's one about entrepreneurship in its whole. And I know I have a lot of stories about this, but I want to hear yours. What's a moment that you almost quit, and what made you not quit?
Whew. So, there's a time just like this is gonna relate with a lot of you all, who, when I was first trying to fix my credit, and I started fixing it, started getting some traction on my credit, but then I lost my job. So then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing clients. I'm gonna start doing credit repair for clients. And for the first like month, I got nobody. I had nobody. And I was like, oh, okay. My second month, I had probably like 2 clients. I was like, oh, damn. What is going on? Like, what's going on? So then I really say, you know what? Maybe I should go get me another job, until I figure something out. And what really told me no was the last time when I lost my job, I asked my boss, can I please take off because I need to go I had to go somewhere, like on a family vacation. And I asked my boss, and I said, hey, I'm leaving, in a couple of days. Well, you didn't let us know. Well, I let my shift leader know. Well, the shift leader didn't put it in, so you're not going anywhere. I said, well, that's BS. So when that ran through my mind, I said, you know what? I'm never going to let a grown man or somebody else dictate what I can and cannot do in life anymore. How can I make that happen? I have to take control of my own life. I have to know that no successful entrepreneur, there was never a successful entrepreneur that never took risks. You'll never find one. You'll never find one. So my risk was, you know what? If I can't make this work, what's my plan B? Plan B is to make plan A work. I just have to double down. I have to find a way because there are people out here who are making it work. And I believe so much in myself, I say, you know what? I'm not going to give up. So that's when I found a mentor. I started learning more, and I started getting clients. I got my first client, my second client, and then I started learning methods on how to grow those 2 clients into 4 or 5 clients by doing affiliates. So when I started learning those things, everything started growing and growing. But that was my saving grace, was just knowing that if I go back to that JOB, which stands for just over broke, I would then be putting myself back in position for somebody to dictate what I can do with my life.
Perfect. Love that. Love that answer. I love that answer because I felt the same damn thing. So it's funny when you hear somebody talk about it and he's like, damn, man, I felt the same damn way. May not be the same story. Like, you don't have the same events occur, but it's the same circumstance. So, don't let me get too far because I'm gonna start saying the Matrix. So let's go into the next set of questions over here. I like we finished with that one. Let's go into the next set. When I look at the next set of questions over here, a couple of them stick out to me. I don't know which one I want to do first, but I think if we do this one, I think this one resonates with you a little bit better than anybody else. So let's start with this one. Right? If someone gets approved for $50K in funding but doesn't have a plan, what usually happens 12 months later? I know exactly where you're going with this one.
They don't have a plan. They got a new car. They got a new watch. They got new shoes. Because why? If you don't have a plan on how you're going to deploy this money to bring you back money, then all of the little things that you wanted in life are going to start calling you heavier and heavier. Why? Because now you have the capital to do it. And I'm not going to say you have the money, you have the income, because again, credit cards, these limits are not income. Okay, I don't want people to misconstrue when I go get a $50,000 credit card. That's not income. Now, you guys, you have to go deploy that to now bring in income. That's how you look at those credit card limits. So yeah, biggest thing is, yeah, if you don't have a plan, I definitely see within 12 months you're over leveraged on that credit card. You're out that 50,000, you spent 49,000, and you don't have a plan, again, on how you're gonna pay that back.
Love it. Love it, because that's exactly, we already have a story on that one. It's just funny.
Yeah,
Just,
geez.
it's like, we already know that one. So this one's a good one. Someone listening right now with a 520 credit score, 3 collections, a car that they're upside down on. What's the first thing that you should do or tell them to do today, this week, this month, this year? What would you do? I got my own answer to this one. I want to hear what your answer is.
So what was the question? They're upside down the card.
So someone's listening right now with a 520 credit score. They got 3 collections and they're and a car they're upside down on. What's the very first thing that they should do today and this week?
Tune in on one of our classes. So one of our classes is 7 p.m. No, you need to go. You need to go get your credits together. You can't do anything with those collections on your report. And then we can talk about how to, get some funding so we can go get you some, like a loan or personal loan, something like that. We can pay off that car. But first things first, you got to go get your credit together. So tune in 7 p.m. EST, where we'll be going over the score machine to show you how to fix your credit. What was your answer?
I'm going to give my answer. Here's what I'm going to do with my answer. The reason you're upside down is a money problem. I don't know what your issue is. I don't know why you have collections, but I can ascertain from certain situations that we've been in, a major thing has happened. Lost a job, got sick, something major has happened, right? If one of those major things has happened, the reason that you are there is because now you can't afford to pay that stuff. So the first thing that I would say is, right, before joining class, go to ChatGPT, ask it to be an HR director, and write yourself a beautiful resume to get hired for a higher paying job. Go into a just over broke to start to fix yourself. You lose that car, you can't get to work. If you can't get to work, you can't make money, and you can't get off the wheel. You need to have money to get off the wheel. And if you don't have money to get off the wheel, guess what? You're forever on the wheel. So you need to understand, job is not meant to be there for 30 years. That time is long dead and gone. That time is, I'm going to start leapfrogging every year. I'm going to start finding a job every year that's making me more and more and more and more money. And then when I get to a certain point where I built a little bit of a nest egg, that's when I start investing into the businesses. That's when I go buy my first business that's already cash flowing and then start to really take off. This is the stuff that we talk about. When you pull somebody into the score machine, right, that has bad credit, yeah, you can get rid of the collections, right? They're still going to come after you to collect the debt. So what happens if they garnish your wage? It may be off your credit report, but they garnish your wage. Mm-hmm. Now you have no money coming in. You can't pay the car again. But if we're smart enough, we get the credit fixed and we're getting more money, we can pay all that stuff down. We can get rid of that debt that we have and then leverage the debt to turn it into cash. Because that's what people don't understand. I have a credit card. I have a $150,000 limit on it. I've got $500,000 in my business in debt that I can leverage. If I want to go take $500,000 out of my business account, I can. But you cannot do that if you don't have a plan. And that was going with the first question that we had asked. All that stuff ties in together. So the first thing that you need to do, write yourself a bomb resume and get some more capital. You need cash. There is something that all these gurus say that I do not agree with. Credit is not king. It is not. Credit is the queen. She will always need the king to move. Without the king, she don't go nowhere. The game's over without the king. I want everybody to understand that. The chess players. The game is over without the king. If you can't pay the queen back using cash, because cash is king, you're never going to move off the board. Get your cash up. Your credit will naturally go up. That's my answer to that question. That's a loaded question. That's a loaded question. I love that.
Great answer.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. This one's extra spicy. I like this one for you. Ready? What's the difference between fixing your credit and actually becoming fundable? Because those aren't the same things, right?
Those are definitely not the same things. Fixing your credit. So, let's say if I want to go get approved for a house, I need a 680 credit score, right? 680, 700 credit score. I technically don't need any credit card. I don't need high limit credit cards for that. So if I fix my credit enough to go get approved for a house, that's cool. But that same report cannot walk into the bank and go get $100,000 because you're not structured right to go get funding. You have a clean report, but you don't have a fundable report. So that's the difference. If I'm going to go get a car, I don't need I don't need 7 primaries and $5,000 limits on my credit cards and 4 years of credit history. I don't need all that. I don't need all of that to go get a car. But when I want to go get funding, I'm going to need that.
I love it, bro. I love it. I love it. I love it. And, you know, that is the truth. I got this one for you. Why do so many people get something removed off of their credit and their score drops?
Okay, so there's something called credit history or there's credit limits, credit age and things like that, where let's say if we remove a account and you don't have any, and it had 20 years of credit history and and that was your oldest account. Your next account is 2 years old, 3 years old. Well, now guess what? When you remove that 20-year-old account, you're also losing that credit history. Let's say, and credit history is one of the bigger parts of your score, or the breakdown. Also, another one is the limits. Let's say we had to go get rid of a credit card or whatever, credit card account, and it had $30,000 on it. Your $30,000 limit. Your next card, $600 on there. Once you lose that account, now your limits drop. Now your score is going to drop. So all that together, just because, yes, you remove that negative account, if you don't have anything supporting that account, I mean, the data points that you're losing, then you're losing data points, which is going to bring your score down.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. I think that's enough for that segment. Let's move into the next segment. I got this one over here, right? I'm gonna ask you your opinion. I know why I did it. I want to hear why you think we did it. Okay. Ready?
Okay.
I'm gonna clip this right here. I'm gonna hit M. All right. Boom. We just clipped it. Okay. Ready? So it's gonna be sick. Ready? Why did we build the score machine for professionals and not consumer in the beginning?
Damn, that's a good one. All right. Why did we build this for professionals and not consumers in the beginning? Well, we were targeting credit repair specialists and funding specialists actually because we wanted to help the people who are helping the people. We wanted to make a software where we know what we're talking about. So when we're putting these certain things, we know other funders, other credit repair specialists are going to know what we're talking about. But the more and more we went through the process and talking to more and more people, we started learning that a lot of individuals wanted to learn how to fix their credit as well, not just the companies and things like that. So then we had to change it up. We had to simplify more things, kind of put it down like a third grade, second grade level so the masses can understand the layouts, the terminology, because just like how we were saying earlier, like when we're saying OPM, a lot we know in the industry what that means, but a lot of the people on the for the masses, they don't know what that means. So changing little certain terminologies and features and things like that, so we can make it more user friendly for everyone in the common person.
Love it. I love it. I
What's
love it.
yours? What's your answer?
My answer is you always start with the business is to find validity. If a business finds validity in a product, then the consumer will find validity in a product. Okay? If the business doesn't find validity in a product, then the consumer is never going to find validity in a product. If a business is going to use it to a different extent than a person's going to use it, yes, we focused on the funding companies, we focused on the we focused on the credit repair organizations and other organizations as well. But here's the thing. These are people that are doing it every day that have a background in this. And when they use the software and they're like, oh, this is great, I can actually work with this, great. So we know that we build something that is good. We know that we build something for them that works. So then we can start putting it out to the consumer. While when you build a product for the consumer, right, and it doesn't test, you can only beta test with the consumer, you really don't know if somebody else can build with it. And that's the key. I want to build a product. Every time that I sit down and I look at it, I said, okay, if a business can utilize this, all I got to do is take away parts for the consumer. That's the key. It's just taking this piece away, taking this piece away, taking this piece away, and now we have a consumer-facing product. And that's how I looked at it. That's why I said that was that when I did that, when I was looking at things like that, I sat down and that's how I looked at it. But when we sat down as a group together, everybody's going to have a different thing. But we all agreed. We're like, yeah, we're going after the businesses. And realistically, a big start to this whole thing was you also were a business yourself. You were a business yourself, so why would we sell to somebody that's not a consumer? I don't have marketing. We didn't have any of that stuff to get off the floor with, but you were selling to businesses. So why would we move in a place that we're, work against the grain? Let's work with the grain. So that's definitely that. Definitely that idea. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to say this. I'm going to switch this question up a little bit. Somebody who CRO credit repair organization that's in business right now that are doing that's doing money, right? Mm-hmm. How does the score machine stop that specific company from failing in the business? How does it change its trajectory? Because we know that there's two types of people in this industry. There's the ones that start, 6 months later, they're out of here. Okay? And then there's the ones that do really freaking good. So how does the score machine bridge that gap?
Got you. So with the score machine, when I say it really takes all the guesswork out and simplifies everything, it makes everything just more streamlined. It really does. To the part where we can actually we have so many trainings as well where a CRO can bring their assistant in. And even if they don't have an assistant, but let's just say if they have an assistant, they can now train their assistant to use this, and it's lights out and it's speedy. Now let's just say they don't have an assistant. when I was doing credit repair, it was go here, go research this law, go input this over here, go copy this strip of context and put it in your letter over here. It was doing all of these things where one client I can spend 45 minutes, when I first started, an hour on. Now it goes to, I get a client that tells me within 7 to 15 seconds if they need credit repair or not. Then, if they need credit repair, it takes me literally another click. So give me another 2 minutes of clicking, and that's being very slow, but 2 minutes of clicking to make sure I disputed everything I want to dispute, hit generate, and I'm on to the next. So now all of that time in between, now I'm focused on growing the business, where now I can grow the business, put a assistant, a VA in that place to do all of that. And now I'm really just focused on growing the business. That's what we call working on the business and not working in the business.
Love it. Love it. I want you to do this question. I can't answer this question truthfully. I know how to do it, but this one is better in your hands than mine. If you were starting from zero today, no audience, no clients, no nothing, you have no software, no nothing, how would you build a credit consultation business in 2016 and scale it to $100K a month? And don't plug our whatchamacallit. Don't plug our coaching program. Stop. Don't. I know where you're going. I know where you're going. Don't plug it.
Well, I can't do that then. All right. Next route.
The next route. Give a little tid, and then we'll hit the coaching program after.
Okay. I got to pivot.
I know where you're going. I saw the gears going.
Yeah. Okay. I would heavily use AI to do it. I would heavily use like Claude and ChatGPT and things like that. Because 2026, I'm not handwriting any letters. I don't want to do that. Although I don't recommend anybody just going to ChatGPT and throwing some prompts in there, because again, you're going to get a lot of things that a lot of people are going to be using. But in 2026, I would really use a software. And the software in 2026, I'll use a score machine. I would have to, because again, it's really taking all the guesswork out. I really don't see any other way to do this while saying I want to grow a company. Because again, in 2026, there's just so many different aspects of growing a business, where the meat and potatoes, which is doing the credit repair, reading the reports, making sure the person's fundable, where to take them. That's all that's the meat and potatoes of your business. So if your stuff is scattered, then the meat and potatoes is all scattered of your business. So I couldn't see myself not using the score machine in 2026 to help grow my business, because again, now that all of that is centralized, and now I can focus on what I know best, which is to go market and go bring in the people to now funnel to the meat and potatoes, which is my software to take care of all the work.
I love it. Love it. I love it. I couldn't answer that one properly. Because it's what we teach in the coaching program. And that's why I said that like don't go too crazy, because I know we already teach it. And that's what having a mentor, two successful mentors is, how to teach it. But basic, how do we get there? I mean, the score machine is always going to be our plug. That's why we created it. But a lot of the people don't realize that software is key. Having the right software puts you ahead of everybody else. So that's major.
Quick thing, we the software wasn't made for, just to be completely honest, and Ali, you can vouch for this. The software wasn't made for you guys. It was actually made for us. Like all the issues that we have, like I'm pretty sure 9 times out of 10 you guys are going to be having the same issues. Mm-hmm. So a big thing about this software is it was stemmed off of what we needed in life. The debt consolidation part, the reading your credit report part, the what banks pull from what bureaus part or from what states part. I know everybody's going to all these different sites to see what bank pulls from where and this, that, and the third. We didn't. We had the same issue. So that's why we integrated it inside the software. Like, so everything that we needed is inside the software. And the best part is we listen to the community. So the second rendition of the software, thanks to you guys. And we love your input. Like, we really do love your input, because again, when we stop getting your input and we stop actually taking your input in as advice, we stop growing. And if we stop growing, we cannot give you the best product and the best resources possible. So we love getting your guys' your feedback and things like that, because we've actually implemented so many things that came from you all. So that's another thing I wanted to add about the software.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Got a couple more questions, and then we're gonna wrap this up. So we're in year 2. Every successful business got a 5-year mark on it. So in the next 3 years, if everything goes right, where do you see the score machine?
Next 3 years, closing on $1 billion. I want to be multi-million dollar company within 3 years, because again, we've came leaps and bounds so far. And to be still a young company, I think all we really need is just the eyeballs. And we are closing in on different methods and strategies and things on how to acquire more eyeballs. So we have a lot of people have a either or problem, or if you have both, then you're really screwed. But some people have a product sucks problem, but they have a lot of eyeballs. The marketing is great. Some people have a marketing, they're great, they're horrible at it, but the product is awesome. Some people have a horrible product and a horrible marketing. So if you have both of those, you're screwed. But right now we have a product, amazing product. We're just struggling with the marketing. But once we get the marketing, and it's not going to take us no 3 years, but once we figure that part out and we actually crack that code for us, then we're cracking multi-millions. So within 3 years, I want to be closing in on $1 billion company.
You know my goals. 44,000. We're out of 44,000 subscribers. We're out of the startup phase. The mid phase is 440,000 subscribers, and then the end game will be 4.4 million. When we're in that end goal. And that's for everybody to hear. You guys got to understand that you have to have an end goal. You have to have an end game. Can't sit down and say, "Oh, we're just gonna ride it until the thing is." And I'm gonna segue into the next question, because it literally is what we're discussing. What's the legacy play here? What does this matter beyond revenue? Because eventually, if I remember correctly, I think it's just at 25 million. I said after 25 million, everybody says that life completely changes after 25 million. So what happens after $25 million? What is our legacy play? I know what our personal legacy plays are with what we want to do privately, but what is the legacy play with the software? Your mic shut off. No, Hold on. Give it a sec. Give it there. There you are.
You hear me now?
Yep, loud and clear.
Beautiful. I was saying, give me an hour to do my thing.
I know, right? I was thinking the same thing. I was like, yo, the thing was like, nope, we're done.
It gave me an hour. Okay.
Legacy play.
Legacy play. All right. So legacy play for the score machine. I want this to be better than. I mean, I don't want. Can we say name? I want to be bigger than certain. I want this to be a household brand name company. Yes, we do plan on selling it off when we get to a certain level, but again, I don't want it to sell it off and then it just goes to kaput. Like all this work, I want to, stay around forever. So I would also like to sell the company and have a little bit of equity still in the company, just because I know that I believe so much in this company. Like I would take a little bit off of how much money I would make and keep some equity inside the business, just because I really do see this company being another Credit Karma, being bigger than them, being another one of those type of website. I mean, of softwares. So I believe that this software will be a name brand software, just like like I said, one of the Credit Karmas and things like that. No, not like that.
Love it. Legacy play for me would be, if we didn't have to sell it, change the industry completely. We are the founders that disrupted to a whole point where we shaped the whole industry because we wanted to disrupt. So that's my legacy play. Okay, last one. This is the last one. I might do last question, and then we'll end off with like a little sales pitch, right? If someone were to take one thing from the whole conversation, what do you want it to be?
From this whole conversation, I want you guys to take from this is, it doesn't matter where you start. Doesn't matter about what your first chapter is in life. That's always what it's going to be. The first chapter of your life. Doesn't matter what the second, third chapter of your life is, because it's always going to be the second, third chapter of your life. It's never going to be the last chapter of your life, which means you have time to rewrite your chapters. The next page, you can rewrite it. But you have to break that cycle of doing the same thing that everybody's doing in life, the masses is taught. You have to break that cycle. You have to actually lock in with someone who knows better. One of my mentors told me, if you want what's in somebody's bank account, you have to know what's in their head. When we're talking about we're doing this, we're doing that, Ali can tell you we just went to Muhammad Ali's house. How could we do that? Because of what we built. It came off good credit. It came off of what we actually invest into ourselves, and we started reaping the benefits of actually being able to afford spending the weekend in Muhammad Ali's house. How is that possible? Ali and I were not doing the same thing, going out, not shitting on anybody who has a 9-to-5 job. But again, we're not doing this. We're not depending on the same things that everybody else is depending on. We're depending on, when we get up, we bet on each other. We bet on the work that our team is going to put forth. We're betting on ourselves. So my biggest thing is, you guys really, if you want better, do better. And if you don't know how to do better, surround yourself with people who are doing better. That's the only way you can do better if you don't know better. So that's my biggest thing.
I love it. One thing that I would want everybody to take from this conversation, first off, get a good business partner. Get a good business partner. Having a good business partner is the key. Having a bad business partner can change the whole trajectory of your company. Have somebody you can have real conversations with. If you don't want to spend a weekend with them in a hotel room, forget about different hotel rooms, same hotel room. If you can't spend a weekend with them together in the same hotel room, you don't got a good business partner. If they drive you up a wall, they drive you to drink, they drive you to be somebody who you're not, it's not somebody that's good. So focus on that. Second thing that I want to tell you guys is focus on your tools. Your tools will help you get further. A carpenter doesn't go to work with no tools. A carpenter shows up to work with his tools. It's the same thing as a mason, same thing as any service job. Your tools matter. The better your tools, the better the job will be. And then the last piece would, the people you surround yourself with. The further education and the people you surround yourself with. Being at the right table is key. I can thank Dre for this. I always bring this up. Dre brought me to a table where, for once in a very, very long time, the speaker of that table explained things to me that just made me go, wow. Wow. Not that I can't find it. It's just that certain people have certain things. And that person showed why he was worth the money that he was. So that's big. That's the three things that I would, want people to take away from these conversations. Not just one, just three.
Beautiful.
Dre, I want you to do something that we don't off the script, off the cusp. If somebody got through an hour of this and they're like, I still don't understand what the scoring machine does. I still don't understand why I need it. Hit him with the sales pitch. Hit him with the sale.
Gotcha.
What's the sale?
So the score machine, altogether, it's going to take all the guesswork out. Okay. I know you might, if you might not know how to read your credit report. You might not know, if you know how to read your credit report, you might not know what to actually do to fix what's wrong with your credit report. That's with the score machine, is taking all the guesswork out. It's a couple of clicks when you come to class. It's a couple of clicks. You don't have to know case laws. You don't need to know what was 15 USC 1666B. You don't need to know what that is or what that stands for or what that does, what it does. You don't need to know that. It's really taking all the guesswork out. If you know how to click on some buttons, if you know your colors, red, green, yellow, then you can read your credit report. If you know how to click some buttons, you know how to dispute your credit report. On the flip side, a lot of people don't know, like we mentioned, a clean report and a fundable report are two different things. Let me say that again. A clean report, 700 credit score, no negative items, as clean, does not mean you are ready for funding. The score machine actually tells you, where there's no guessing, hey, this person has a clean report, but needs to go do this to become a fundable report. All you have to do is go fix this, and now you have a fundable report. No guessing. Once you are actually fundable, it tells you what banks to go to. So again, a lot of these gurus, mentors, go to this site, go to that site to see what bank pulls from. And none of that. I don't need to figure out 30 different sites to do one damn job. I have one site and it does everything for me. So for all my people who hate having 30 tabs open, how about this? We get one tab open. It's called the score machine, and let it tell you what you need to do.
I like that. All right. Let's wrap this episode up. This is another episode of Money Matters. Listen, if anything we said hits different, if you learned something, if you caught yourself nodding or texting a screenshot to someone, do us a favor. Hit the subscribe button, drop us 5-star review, share an episode with one person in your circle who's playing the money game on hard mode and doesn't have to. That's how this show grows. That's how we get more guests, more games, more truths into the earbuds every week. And look, if you're ready to stop guessing about your credit and actually see what the bank sees, what the underwriter sees, what the algorithm sees, head over to thescoremachine.com. That's where we put the same AI-powered credit analysis tool we use in our private clients into your hands. Whether you're trying to fix your own credit, get funded, or build business, helping others do the same, it's all there. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and everywhere you scroll. Just search The Score Machine or the Money Matter Podcast. I'm Badi. He's DeAndre Ruffin. And remember, money matters. But when moves you make with it matter more. We'll see you in the next episode, everybody. Have a great day.
See you guys.